I have Mickie James here with me. We're going to be talking about Hard to Kill. You're on the Last Rodeo, a lot going on. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a busy media day.
I,
So,
I'm glad I get a chance to be part of it. I'll try to keep it fun.
no, it's going to be so fun. Thanks.
Uh, you left WWE. You felt like you had a lot to prove, and you obviously have done a lot in that time. You won the Knockouts Championship. You produced the All Women Show, Empower. You've had some great matches and feuds with Deanna and Chelsea in Impact. Can you kind of talk about what happened where, I mean, as far as we know, this was you putting up your career, your last rodeo. What happened in that time where you felt like this was the time to sort of raise the stakes in that way?
I lost the championship and I went away for like when I lost this championship to Tasha and kind of Chelsea turned on me and it just there was a lot of factors that went into it. There's a lot of factors that are still go into it and it was about not just about proving that I still belong in the locker room or still belong as an active female on the roster and that I still can hang with this new generation, which is a lot of sometimes fueled a bit by comments or things that you'll see or conversations or headlines that you might see via the internet. And some of it is fueled by real life. I've been really blessed. I don't know what else, I was trying to think as I was asked to maybe come back and still be part of the roster. And, I was thinking about, I was like, well, what else do I have to prove? I've done so much. And I've been fortunate enough to like perform on television with so many different locker rooms from different companies, from different generations, from different expectations and, you know, perceptions of what women's wrestling is. And it's evolved so much to this place that we're at now where, women are getting all these truly equal opportunities. And I felt like sometimes, it took a lot to get here and it's like moments that we prayed for. So it was like, I don't want to now that this, the tree is finally bearing all this fruit. It's unfortunate that a lot of the women that planted those trees can't even taste the apple. It's like, and people who have not had to have those same suffrages or have not gone through, paid those same dues or not done a lot of the same things. And this is not a slight by any means, because I think when I say this, it doesn't take away from people's talent or anything like that. But those struggles are not the same. But they're the ones that are, obviously baskets of fruit. And so I'm going like, well, why would I step away? Because unless I can't deliver, unless I'm out there and because I never wanted to outlast my stay, and stay too long. I always wanted to go out on top at the best of my game and do something remarkable on the way out if I could. And so it just kind of made sense to me of this, you know, I didn't want to come in and just get a title shot and say, hey, I'm Mickie James. I want to challenge whoever's the champion as the champion. That's it. I'm coming for the title. I wanted to prove, out of respect to the locker room, I wanted to prove that I was willing to work for it just as hard as every girl in that locker room. And I was willing to put my career on the line because that way it put my back against the wall. And I always perform better under pressure, in the sense that I would truly prove whether I still belong or not. And if at any point along this journey, if I couldn't win and I couldn't make it to the championship, then that was it. And so be it. And I still would have been happy with my career because of everything that I've been able to do. But here we are, and it's hard to kill. And I've made it to the mountain. I've made it to the top of the mountain, and Jordynne is the champion. And this is kind of the bookend to the story of, I either win or I lose. I am either the new champion or I never wrestle again. And that's it's a big thing, because when I'm like, God, what am I going to do if I lose?
Mhm.
So I've been trying not to put that in my brain, but that's like the question is like, what are you going to do if you lose? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be an awesome mom for my son as I try to be every day, and be an awesome wife, and obviously my other businesses and stuff. But wrestling has been my identity for a very, very long time. And it's been the thing that I've poured my whole soul into for over 2 decades to get to,
Mhm.
be able to do all of these things and make all these moments. So it's scary. It's scary to think life after wrestling, but
I think there's layers to it though, because you just brought up a point, like there is some finality to it. Like, at some point it'll end. Maybe you don't want to think about it, but is that something, like, have you, not to get too personal, but is that something like you talk about with your son? Like, oh, I'm not going to be wrestling anymore. I'm going to be home a little bit more. Or on the other side, is that something maybe you've talked to Impact about, as far as like, well, hey, I'm not going to wrestle, but I'd still like to help out and be around in, a
oh,
producer aspect or something like that, where you
I've always had
know,
a desire to move behind the scenes and to work with, especially because when I was coming up, there weren't any females in leadership positions like that.
mm,
There weren't any women, like I had all male trainers for, I had all the guys that I trained with. They were all guys. There were barely like one or two girls. I think there was Tara in Maryland, Tara from MCW, and Candy was training, but the most of the girls were like girlfriends or something like that, manager roles, but they were mostly the girlfriends that were just happened to be a manager role.
mm,
There weren't women training for wrestling, and now so many women have come off the other side with, who have been massively successful, who are now helping behind the scenes. And like, you can talk about Gail Kim, leader of the Knockouts, but even Beth, when she was commentating with NXT, but helping the girls and stuff down there. Um, that I think that's why I was doing, even when I was at WWE, I was doing those commentator positions and going down to NXT and kind of training in that and learning different things like the trucks and camera positions. And I feel like my strengths have always been character development and
mm.
storyline stuff, and I have great matches and I love wrestling, but I would never say like I'm like the female Dean Malenko of wrestling, a woman of 1,000 holds or anything like that. I'm an entertainer. I love to entertain because that's the wrestling that I fell in love with, and that's who I kind of emulated my career out of. I've tried to mimic my favorites, and they were all entertainers. And so that's what I love to, because that's what draws it to me. So if I can help other people find that thing that sets them apart and makes them different, I think that there's an immense amount of like joy that I will find out of that. And obviously it's going to be hard to go like, okay, but now I'm not in the limelight anymore. I'm not Mickie James hardcore country. I'm not a champion, but I've been a champion a lot, and I've championed a lot of things from Empower and just, the rise of women's wrestling, and um it's pretty awesome. So there's not anything where I go like, oh, I need to do this one last thing, or have to do this one last thing. All I wanted was one last rodeo, one last bow to put on my career, to put a bookend on it, to go like, this was worthy of my career. Now, like that's something that I can hang my hat on and say goodbye to. And I do feel like this whole every stop along the way and this whole last rodeo, I mean, if it ends in Atlanta, so be it. And I'll still be happy and I'll be fulfilled with my career. And I'll be sad. I'll be very sad, but um yeah, I'll always have a place in wrestling, whether it's on camera or not. Who's to say? I don't know.
I wish you did call yourself the female Dean Malenko, because that was my headline.
Isn't
But
Well, I can't though, because Serena is the professor, isn't she? She's kind of like the female Dean
yeah,
Malenko. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to
I
start.
maybe know 100 holds, maybe not 1,000.
All right, almost. Uh, Friday the 13th is the theme. It's Hard to Kill is the name of the event, but the theme obviously playing on horror movies. Uh, any favorites you have as far as from the horror genre, slashers?
Okay. So here's the deal. I don't watch scary movies.
No.
They terrify me. I don't sleep for weeks. I wake up. And ironically, Friday the 13th was the one horror movie that I watched way too young, and and I didn't sleep for a month. I thought, you know, I was terrified, and I watched it with my uncle and his friends, and they were like, I don't know, 5 years older than me or so, and I thought I was trying to be cool and hang out and be cool. Terrified me. It was awful. But I've done a lot of I've done Horror Hound and like scare like Comic Cons where I've met a lot of these people, the new Michael, and they're awesome. I get I can't. I can't even watch something if it's too slashers, no, gruesome. No, I don't want to see blood. I don't want to see guts. I cringe. I struggle to watch hardcore matches that get too bloody.
You've
It
been in one,
really like I'm like,
you've been in one.
ugh! And my face turns and does this whole other thing. I start making weird noises like that one. I'm like, my hands go up over my face and like, no, I can't. So I wish I loved to be scared. I don't. I
It's
don't.
it's fun. You've been in one. You were in a Texas death match that was
I
probably more
was.
brutal than some of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. That's
All right.
different though.
Okay. All right. Uh, I'm just, I don't know, trying to open your mind to it, but whatever.
I know. I know. I love a bit of Disney though. I was just down binge watching Heartland downstairs like a real mom.
I just was watching National Treasure, the show that just came
Okay.
out, so that it's pretty good. I'm a fan of the movies.
Yeah.
The show's a little different,
I
but
haven't
I
seen
like
that
it.
one.
It
Yeah.
just, I don't know if it, I know it's releasing weekly, but I think the
Yeah.
first few came out at once.
I
But
will
it's
say I like those, like NCIS. I love Law and Order, especially the SVU one is the greatest one ever
Mhm.
made. Um, so those ones are all like when people get killed, but they get the guy, I'm okay with it. It's when there's the possibility that they're still out there murdering folks, or like I'm a killer, I'm a serial killer or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to, I'm not trying to glorify you, buddy.
I have to watch on Fridays on Peacock because I watch Impact on Thursdays.
Mm, right.
uh Last question, a little bit of a fun one. I just watched another interview that you did, and they, or no, not you. Sorry. I just watched another interview that Nick did, and he was asked what he learned about the wrestling business from your relationship, and he said that short answer, he learned how to carry himself more like a star, and dressing a little bit more like a champion. I wrote it
I'm
up
big
because I
on that. That's so funny that he said that because I felt like he's always dressed, but I'm big on that. I don't um I feel like when you're coming to work, you're coming to work. And this is like a thing that's just been, and this is not just because of whatever, but I don't show up to work in sweatpants or workout clothes. It's very rare. If I do, there's a reason. It's because I'm coming straight and going straight to the ring. But even then I'll change at the arena. I know we're professional athletes, but when I go through the airport or if to any public appearance, I want to look and feel like Mickie James, the superstar, because I feel like that's who the fans want to meet. They don't want to meet Mickie James, the girl down cleaning the stalls. They don't want to meet Mickey. They will. They'll be happy with it. They don't want to meet Mickie James, the gym rat, or me at Walmart in 3 a.m.
yeah.
Realizing we ran out of milk or something. Like, so I'm very big on that. I think that you always have to, if you want to be a superstar and you want to be seen and perceived as a superstar, you have to present yourself as a superstar. And
Yeah.
how you present yourself is how people will perceive you. And that's just it. And
Yeah.
so your level of success is always, will always rise to what you believe in yourself and how you put yourself out there. And so you have to take that same love and respect of how you feel about yourself and put it into every aspect of that, because you are your biggest salesperson and you are selling yourself to a company, to your boss, to the audience, and you want to do that the best way you can.
That's along the lines of what he said too. So it's good
Yeah.
that, you know, you kind of share the same opinion.
But
But
that's not the question you were going to ask me. You're going to ask me what I learned from him.
yes, you've done this before.
No, I just realized that I'm like, I just went on a tangent and he didn't even get his question out. And I'm so sorry.
It's Ross, don't kill me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's my fault, Ross. God, what habit? Patience. He's helped me with my patience and he has a different view, and he's helped me open up to seeing other people's opinions and understanding. And I felt like I've always been pretty good at that, but when you come from different generations, because Nick is younger than me, Nick is much younger than me, and you come from different generations and different backgrounds and definitely cultures too, because he came up in the UK and the British scene. So it's just the way people do things, and even stylistically, what they perceive is like um great, and even our favorites are not in line. Like, he's a big Bret Hart fan, and I love Bret Hart, but I wasn't. I was a Macho Man Randy Savage fan, and I was a Ric Flair fan. Like, I loved the heels, and so it's just funny. So it's cool to bounce ideas off each other and to have like a partner that believes in you, but is also willing to be authentic and tell you the truth when you need to hear it, but also sometimes not tell you the truth and just make you feel good when they know that you need that too. So, yeah. Being in a
Aw.
relationship, especially in the business and two people in the business, is hard because we have such um fragile egos, We really
I'm
do.
like, I'm getting weepy. I like that.
Oh,
Uh, I'm glad I ended on that. It was a, you know, sort of an uplifting and heartwarming moment after we're talking about horror movies and brutality. So,
yeah, and blood and guts. Yeah.
Hard to Kill, January 13th. The Last Rodeo. We'll see if it continues. Hopefully, we get to do this again while you're still a wrestler.
I hope so.
But thank you for your time today, and best of luck next
Oh
weekend.
my God. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Bill.